What's up, guys? My name is Elias, and The Mandalorian and Grogu is officially in theaters, so it's time to watch, review, and rank every Star Wars movie. And continuing our watch list is perhaps the most unfortunately divisive movie in the franchise, 2017's The Last Jedi. Acting as the technical eighth episode in the Skywalker saga, The Last Jedi had the potential to be one of, if not the best or most interesting Star Wars movie, given that the prolific director Rian Johnson was handed the keys to the kingdom, but that actually proved to be the sequel trilogy's biggest downfall. While a technically well-made standalone film and arguably the most visually impressive one in the franchise at that, The Last Jedi simply doesn't work as part of a J.J. Abrams sequel trilogy. It's too different to the point where it creates a break in the cohesiveness between episodes 7 and 9. A minority of Star Wars fans may argue that this is the first movie to truly understand Star Wars, even more so than George Lucas himself somehow. But I would argue that is absolutely ridiculous because I'm pretty sure the guy who created Star Wars understands it better than anyone else ever could. But I digress. What's another reason I disagree with that notion? I'll tell you. Though The Last Jedi boasts some interesting concepts like a reclusive Luke Skywalker, the Force being shared between two individuals via a dyad, Rey being the offspring of randos instead of someone significant in the Star Wars lore, so on and so forth, none of this seems to matter all that much in The Rise of Skywalker, so why the heck should I care about anything going on here? Answer, I don't. Luke Skywalker's characterization is odd here. The man who was known as the greatest Force wielder ever now wants nothing to do with the Jedi Order, tosses a lightsaber over a cliff like it's nothing, chugs alien breast milk, and contemplates murdering his nephew for fear of him turning to the dark side. This is just not the Luke I know. His connection to Kylo was also very interesting, as not only do they share the same bloodline, but Luke seems to be the only thing standing in Kylo's way from turning full dark side. Their fight on Crate is awesome. Even if Luke was only a Force projection, it showed a glimmer of Kylo's humanity that he feels ending Luke will finally kill that part of himself. But Luke ultimately succumbs to the Force and joins the Hall of Fame of Force Ghosts anyway. Kylo's connection with Rey is surprisingly more interesting, as this concept of a Force dyad proves that maybe the Force is also growing as much as wielders of it gradually master its abilities. However, there's more connective tissue there as we find out that in The Rise of Skywalker, well, you know what? More on that next time. Yes, the movie does waste Snoke, though they set him up to be a looming presence throughout the trilogy. Thanks, Rian Johnson. But I'll say, the throne room scene where Rey and Kylo team up against Snoke's guards after he's assassinated is one for the ages. And not for nothing, but it's probably one of my top 5 favorite battles in the Star Wars universe. Sue me. There's the good and there's the bad. It seems as though the action visuals continue to be the best thing about this sequel, but the execution of everything else just bogs it down. Finn is always running from his duties and tossed to the side, forced into some random romance plot with Rose, who almost kills him, by the way. Benicio del Toro seems like he randomly stumbled upon the set and they created a character and subplot for him on the spot just because he's Benicio del Toro. Rey just keeps looking for answers that she never receives, misleading us to thinking she's not as important to the overall story as she ends up being. And instead of just telling everyone her plan, Admiral Holdo zooms into a whole Star Destroyer to distract the First Order. Talking it out now, it really feels like everyone involved behind the scenes in this thing just kind of threw whatever at the wall to see what stuck. But none of it really did. Real quick before I give my final thoughts, if you want to know my official rating of the movie, click the link in the description below to check out my letterboxd at Takes with Eli, along with my other socials where I post stuff like this all the time. But let's get back to it. Overall, The Last Jedi gives me Justice League levels of frustration. J.J. Abrams should have taken the reins of the entire sequel trilogy, and Rian Johnson should have never deconstructed some of the most beloved characters in the franchise. There's room for a darker take on Star Wars, and a part of me wishes they simply went that route for episodes 7 and 9, or 7 to 9, in the first place, instead of having a non-cohesive vision between the three. I just hope with Dave Filoni running things at Lucasfilm now, that we'll start getting back to what makes Star Wars Star Wars. But that's it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button. Get in my comments with your thoughts on 2017's The Last Jedi, as well as which Star Wars movie you're excited for me to talk about next. But until then, take care. God bless.